We are live.
We're live?
Yep.
I'd like to call to order the December 23rd, 2024 Columbia Borough Council meeting. Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilperson Day?
Here.
Councilperson Hoffman?
Here.
Councilperson Stahl? Councilperson Fisher?
Here.
Councilperson Easy?
Here.
Councilperson Murphy? Councilperson Burns?
Mayor.
Mayor Lutz.
Oh, Mayor Lutz, I'm so sorry.
Here. I thought you changed that sheet.
I did. I put it in bold and right below the last one. Forgot.
You need to-
She's just picking on you, Leo.
All right. Would anybody care to offer an invocation? If you'd like, please rise for a moment of silence. Councilperson Fisher, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Steve, are we recording this too?
Yes. Yeah, what?
I made an announcement at the last meeting.
Make sure your mics are on.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Announcement of executive session, there was none. Are there any deletions, additions, or reorganization of the agenda needed? I am aware we are going to be removing item 11B. Consider authorizing the offer, extending the offer of employment for police officer. That will be removed. Is there anything else that needs changed? All right. Could I have a motion to approve the reorganized agenda?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Giese to approve the reorganized agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Citizen comment and non-agenda items only. The first sign up we have is Sharon Littner.
Testing. Okay. Sharon Lintner, 500 Chestnut Street. I spoke before about the fact that I kind of resent having to pay more in taxes when I'm still rather unclear on where all of the bond money that we're currently paying back has gone. And I know the other week some discussion was had on that, and I did a little more research to try to understand it and found that we didn't really actually get the bonds, I don't believe, until June, or have access to the money. It was voted on in 2016, but June of 2017 is when I believe we had access to utilize the funds. And by December of 2018, then Borough Manager Denlinger was discussing how to use, so they were not all defined. If they were defined in the beginning, then things changed because she led a discussion that night on how to utilize whatever was remaining. I'm not sure that she gave a figure on that. But at any rate, then you had said, the council president had said some of the record keeping was spotty because the borough manager at the time and finance were trying to research it.
Right.
So at any rate, I still feel that I don't have a real good idea. And in 2.5 years' time, from when we would have started utilizing those funds, 9.8 million, until like 2.5 years later, I think that it was gone. I mean, when we took office in 2020, I never heard we had more bond money to spend. I only heard we had to pay it back.
Right.
And then we refinanced
Well, there is some of the bond money is still outstanding because it was used for the market house and it will be used for the RACP Phase 2 as well.
Okay, and I understand that, certain things it was spent on certain things. I know there was a $2 million old debt it was used and the fire company maybe, but it still doesn't account for a lot of it. So I'm going to submit a right to know I have it detailed here. Now, I wondered, is the chief the officer or I'm losing track of who's open records?
The chief is still the officer because I don't think we changed that.
And online, I kind of think it says Paula is. Maybe I misunderstood that, but,
Formally, it's chief at this point.
okay, so
Yeah,
may I
that
give
needs
this
to
to
be
you now?
changed. We can't have on the website that someone's an open records officer that isn't.
Well, I don't know for sure, Heather. I think that's
Yeah.
what I read. And so
Yeah.
I was a little confused on who I should give it to, but that's fine. Thank you, chief.
All right, the next sign up I have is Todd Lassam.
Oh, I'm sorry, I signed. No, forget it.
Oh, okay, you're not commenting, you're
I thought
just
I
here.
was just a signer.
Okay.
My mistake.
Next sign up is Frank Dowtrick.
Well, I abstained officially.
I'll make up for you. Good evening, everybody. I'll just keep my clothes on, it's cold. Got a couple issues here. The streaming is still so bad. How much did we spend already? The different people I talk to, their biggest complaint is please talk into the microphone. I come to the meetings, I bring this issue up to you. It just falls on deaf ears. I think this could be rectified. There's certain ways you could do it and maybe put the microphones on a wire that I've seen them. But to me, I wouldn't like that if I was sitting there. But if you just talk in the microphones and put the plug in when it's due, when they're supposed to do it, that would be a big help. But I seen online where the people complain, I don't have to go to the meeting. I can see it on stream it. I don't know how they see it. I don't know how they get anything out of it. But anyway, that was one issue. Getting back to the budget, most of the raises that when I get through my packet again, most of the raises were 3%, all except for one, which was the chief's, it was 5%. Why is that?
We explained it, it's contractual.
You probably did, and I didn't.
It's contractual.
He gets what the police.
He gets what the police, yeah, the police union, what their contract is, that's what the chief gets.
Okay, but he's not union though.
No.
Okay, I just want to clear that up. I hear you talk about the check writers. Who is the check writers for the borough? I mean, the check signers, not writers, signers.
Signers is all members of council plus the manager and the finance manager.
You all sign the checks?
We are all able to.
No, who does sign, who is appointed to sign the checks?
It's council.
Council.
After, like tonight, we'll vote to pay the bills.
Yes,
And then after the meeting, we'll just split them all up and everybody will sign them.
Wow. I
Yeah,
didn't,
it's always been that way. Two people.
I thought it was
sign.
only two people.
Yeah, two people sign
Well,
the
But
check.
you just
We'll
said
split
all
them
of you
up.
signed the check.
We'll
Yes.
split up that pile of checks. And like Barb and I will sign a bunch of them. Heather and Joanne will sign a bunch of
Then
them.
everybody does sign
Yes.
all the
Yes.
checks.
We all participate, put it that way.
Okay.
But we don't all sign each check.
No, okay, well, that explains it. Who signs the payroll checks?
That's digital.
That's digital. That's all done through the payroll service.
How come somebody don't have to verify that?
Well, it's done by staff. I don't know exactly, but yes.
It just seemed odd.
each department manager
approves their
approves
timesheets.
approves the timesheets for their employees.
Yeah, but when the checks are made,
Yeah, they're all electronic transfer.
There's no check issue.
okay, they don't get issued a check.
No, and council has already authorized the payment of payroll in the resolution we did that says, these things can be paid.
Okay, all right. Now, I have here both agendas, tonight's and I have the last meeting. I see nowhere on there that there was a meeting authorized, and even at the beginning of the meeting, you said there was no executive sessions to report. Now, I'm here to ask, what was so special that you had a closed-door meeting after the last meeting?
We didn't.
I come here, the doors was locked, and I was told you were having your talk session.
We didn't have one.
We didn't. I don't know who said that, but it's not true.
No, they
The
shut
only
the
thing
doors
that
and we
happens,
leave.
yeah, they shut the doors, but the only thing that happens is we sign the checks and then we leave.
Yeah, the door was locked. I come back, my phone was here. I come back from my phone.
Oh,
That-
yes, I remember that.
They do lock the door right after the meeting's over.
Right. No, we were not having any meeting.
Okay, all right. And I'd like to go back to the last meeting with the developer was here for the demolition. I was going to ask the question that you explained, but I don't think you went far enough. Could you explain a little further what was waived at that meeting? You brought it up, but you didn't go into detail.
I'm trying to remember exactly which, are you talking about?
Talking about for the hotel down on
the
Second
hotel?
Street. They waived, I think it was 5, I forget the name of them.
Mhm. So
But
5
you
provisions.
explained it, you brought it up,
Yes.
but
yeah.
you really didn't go into detail. Am I right in saying they have to do with the environmentals?
No,
No.
no,
Yeah.
it was the conditions that, they needed to have the final site plan
Plan.
approved by Harb and, the final subdivision plan approved before we could issue the demo permit. Those are the things we waived.
Okay, well, I was really concerned because not a one of you has asked how the demolition was going to be done. And I know how it was done in other parts of the town by the contractors that did it. And I know it was supposed to be water mist, and that only happened when somebody was watching it. But anyway, I thought it had to do with that, so I was wrong then.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. What's the time? I don't know how to phrase this question, but if somebody comes in for a permit to involve a big project and they put it on hold, what's the term of that, or what's the length of that till they have to come back and redo this all over?
It depends largely. I mean, I'll say like a lot of times if they have to go before the zoning hearing board, a lot of times the zoning hearing board will put a time limit on that. But there are always things, a permit is generally good for a year, I believe.
I thought it was 3, but I'm wrong.
No,
I could be
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah. Once someone comes in and gets an actual permit, it's normally good for a year. And then there could be extensions on that depending on what's going on and that sort of thing.
Okay, if there wasn't extensions, would the permit or the person that come in to get the permit, would they not have to do this all over again? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, then what's going on with the hotel? That was well over 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There were issues because of COVID and things like that. There were issues and we felt that it was I'll say, necessary for them to be able to complete that project. They had shown good faith and continued to work on things, but because of COVID, there were some delays there. So that's why we have, you allowed that project to move forward.
I just see things just going so fast that I just hope it's done for all the people that come in here to do that, not just for one person. Are we getting all of our due fees for the borough through projects like this?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. I can't speak to that, but I would absolutely assume that, yes, yep.
All right. The McGinnis project, supposedly when this is done, will these parcels be sold or leased?
We have not come to a final determination yet
Yep.
on any of that. The hope is that they'll be sold, and I don't think that's gonna be an issue.
Okay. And in going through my packet last week, I like that legal notice that you give the dates of the meetings and the planning commission and zoning and all that. And I guess lastly, I've been wanting to do this at a couple of different meetings, but finally Mary Wickenheiser's here. And I always wanted to commend her for the years that she put in. In most cases, of the meetings and all that I've been involved with the borough, people come and go. I'm talking about council people, managers and all, but she just stayed and followed. I don't know how many times she was on council, how long she was on the planning commission, but you really have to look at somebody. I'd like to have her cited for that somehow. That I really appreciated that. And also Sharon Littner. Sharon and Joe both, they're always driving to town. She's involved. How longer Sharon's going to put up with or stay with it, I don't know. But you just see so many people that come, put 4 years in, and you never see them no more. As a matter of fact, they'll sit there, raise the taxes, and next thing you know, they move out of the town. I've seen that happen many times. But anyway, I'm just so glad to see that.
Thank
Thank
you. For your information, Mary received an award last year from Lancaster for her years of service
Yes.
here in the
Yes.
borough.
It's good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone that wanted to speak that did not get a chance to sign up? Next, minutes for approval. We have 4 minutes for approval. I have notes on all of them of corrections. So I'd like to read the corrections before, let me pass that back to Steve, please.
Sure.
I'd like to read the corrections before we
Thank
get the motion. That way we can approve the corrected minutes. On the November 20th meeting minutes, on page 1, it's stipulated, under Sharon Littner's comments, it says to pay back the BOS loan. It should be BIOS, B-I-O-S. Could I have a motion to approve those corrected minutes?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Geezy to approve the corrected minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Next, the November 26th minutes. There's several corrections on here. This is the regular meeting. On page 2, I would like to have where it says stated there was a major drug bust by the feds. I would like that to be changed to drug bust by the federal authorities. Also there 11B, it states the motion by Kaufman, second by Stahl, and the voice vote, it says motion denied. I believe that was actually, the motion was was withdrawn.
Okay.
So I would like to change that to withdrawn. And on page 4, the motion to authorize staff to extend the offer of employment to Michelle Jenkins. Under voice vote, it says motion carried with 1 negative. Per open meetings, we have to stipulate who voted what. So it should say, the no was Geezy, but the motion carried. And that meeting, I do not believe Engineer Ronaldo made any comments. So I would like to add under 13B that there were no comments. Are there any other questions, comments, or concerns on this one? Could I have a motion to approve the amended minutes?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Geezy to approve the amended minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? I would not normally do this, but because we are behind on approving the minutes, I wanted to make sure that we got these approved tonight so they can be posted. December 3rd. On the December 3rd minutes, on page 4, it says Mayor Lutz would like to extend the special events application lead time from 60 days to 6 weeks. However, 60 days is more than 6 weeks. So did you want to keep it at 60 days or did you want to change it to 6 weeks? Because that doesn't make sense.
I don't remember it.
I think it currently says 60 days.
It does say 60
Keep it at
days.
60 days.
Keep it at 60 days. All right, so then we are going to,
I'm sorry, which page?
4.
no, page 3. Is it? 1, 2, 3. So we should just remove that section where it says Mayor Lutz. We'll just remove that one completely. Do I have a motion to approve those amended minutes?
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Geezy to approve the agenda or revised minutes for December 3rd, 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? And on December 10th, on page 1, it says an invocation was given by Dawn Harmon of the Columbia Ministerial. It should be Ministerium. And under Borough Council comments, my comment, it says that State Senator Almond has accepted a position with State Senator-elect McCormick. It should be U.S. Senator McCormick. Could I have a motion to approve the amended minutes?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilperson Geezy, second by Councilperson Kaufman to approve the amended Borough Council meeting minutes for December 10th, 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Can you pass these back to Steve
Certainly will.
so he can give them
Thank you.
to the?
Thank you.
All right, presentation and acceptance of reports, community development.
I'd like to acknowledge the receipt of the zoning and planning report for November 2024.
All right,
May I ask Mary a question?
Yep.
Mary, could you please The Rivertown Summit Project, just kind of like an overview of that, what that is?
We've got two gone right now, both with Rivertown's and Rivertown's Summit is
440
the
North.
project out of Fourth and Linden that is a Habitat for Humanity project. And it kind of follows the same blueprint. About 2 years ago,
Yeah.
there was an approval for a private individual to put in townhouses out there. And for whatever reason, that fell through. And now Habitat for Humanity has come in and they will be developing that out there as Rivertown Summit. I'm not sure at this point. I'd have to go back and look, if you wanted any more details than that. But
No,
that's what I can
all.
tell.
Thank you.
Our other one is Rivertown Estates, which is in another end of town. That's why I had to think a second. Anything else?
Not for me. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Finance, I would like to acknowledge the receipt of the finance reports for November 2024. Are there any questions, comments? Yes, Sharon.
Just a quick question. On page 8, where you have the listing for the bond, does that money come out of general fund to make those payments for the bond?
Yes.
Okay, so then, so that I understand this, then some of those capital projects are being paid back by general fund money.
For the bond, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Are there any other questions, comments, concerns on the finance reports? Safety reports, we'll have Councilperson Kesey acknowledge those.
I'd like to acknowledge the receipt of the public safety reports for November 2024, Columbia Borough Police Department, Columbia EMOC, EMS report, and I'd also like to acknowledge receipt of the compliance and condemnation report.
And I have a question for Chief. The report of monthly offenses, that whole compilation of from January till now, can we add them all up and say that is the call volume for each month? Or are there other calls that you get in addition to what's here?
No, the second page is actually a snapshot of the types of reports our officers take per month and actually for the year.
Mm-hmm. Do you keep any statistics on the number of calls that come in each month?
We do. The Lancaster County Communications puts out an annual report every year. And last year, for example, we were around 11 to 12,000 calls to service in the borough.
I don't know about everybody else, but I think that like an end of the year information on that, how many calls you received.
We
And
usually do.
We do get that at the end of the
We usually
year?
do get that in
Great.
like the spring.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? I would like to note that we did receive the fire department report. Unfortunately, it did not get saved to be included in the packet. So we do have that and we'll get it for next time.
While we're talking about that.
Yep.
I'd just like to, since Todd's not here tonight, Scott Rhino is retiring from fire chief this year. And I'd just like to give him a thank you for all the years of service in the fire department, as well as EMS and everything else. So I think from all council, I can say thank you, Scott, for your time to Columbia Borough.
And not sure if everyone noticed on the condemnation report, there are 2 properties that were accepted into the vacant property reinvestment board blight process at the meeting last week. So we do have those on there as well. And that process is being used to get the properties back up to, a standard that they can be lived in. All right. Any other questions on the reports? Mayor Lutz, Chief Browner.
I have nothing at this time.
I do.
All right. Okay.
Yes. Mayor Lutz and I attended the graduation for Officer Zach Throne this past Friday at the Reading Police Academy. It was an honor to be there. Zach did exceptionally well academically, and then he surprised us with the overall physical fitness award for the entire class. So
Nice.
yes, so we're getting another high caliber, police officer within the department, which is wonderful. He also passed his final exam this morning for the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission. So we're very proud. He's starting out very well, and we look forward to getting him into training and onto the streets. So,
Okay.
thank you.
So he has not officially been onboarded as a borough employee yet.
Oh, he has.
He
Yes.
has.
Yes.
I thought so.
Yes. He's been in the academy for the last 6 months.
That's
so
what
he
I
is-
thought.
Yeah, he is employed or has been.
Yeah,
employed,
Michelle and I were talking about that
Yes.
today. I also think that there were some other exciting things that were done in the last couple of weeks, correct?
There are, and what I'd like to do is, I spoke to Steve about this, maybe in January, we would like to designate some time to actually have the officers here
Yes.
to be recognized.
Absolutely.
There are more to come. So
Good.
I'm
Yes,
working on
please,
some
'cause-
additional, yes.
I was sort of miffed. I was like, wait a minute, council didn't get to see these.
No, I spoke to Steve about that, and we'd like
Yes.
to, in working with you and council,
Yep.
designate a date in January to have the officers here.
Perfect.
And also, we'll take that time to introduce Zach Throne and maybe have a formal swearing at that point.
We have
Very good.
not met Rebecca Blatt either.
Have not, okay.
No, we have
Well,
not.
we can get that fixed as well. Yes.
Nope. No, we're really behind here.
Yes.
So,
So we will
yes,
have them both
Sharon.
here.
Thank you.
Sorry, I had a question actually for the mayor. Did you actually sign the budget with the tax increase? So where does that leave us now?
It's,
So because he just didn't sign it and did not return it with objections,
Oh,
it simply becomes I'll say the law, for lack of a better term. It's.
so
it-
his
it-
not signing didn't change anything?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
yes, Frank.
Same question for the mayor, which that was your right to do what you did. You didn't have, but that really didn't mean nothing either. But why did you not veto it, being that you wanted to push for the 1%? Why not just veto, give them written objections? And we had a borough manager in place, we have our finance manager in place. There would have been a special meeting, there would have been time involved for these 2 key people to come up with maybe something that our board president could come up with.
If you looked at the deliberations, you saw it was 5-2. And we're taking several more, and I vetoed it to override my veto. I didn't think it stood a chance of standing up, the veto standing. Plus, if I would have vetoed it, it would have, with the time involved in it, the borough would have had to advertise for another special meeting, which would have cost us well over $1,000. And we would have had to pay for the reprinting of all the tax bills for the year. So it would involve several $1,000s. If I thought there was a chance of the veto standing, I would have. But I didn't think there was a chance of the veto standing, and I wasn't going to take that gamble and cause the borough that additional funding.
Yeah, with no disrespect, like I said, it was your call.
Yep.
But the $1,000 for the advertised is nothing if we could have saved another mill, if we got two key people that went over that and maybe found things that was overlooked.
But they didn't vote.
I know they didn't vote, but council would have had the time for them to do that. They couldn't, hey, you go do your job. Hey, between the two of them, Leo, we're paying over $200,000.
They wouldn't have found any more than I found, Frank.
Well, you don't know that. We're paying 72,000 plus fringes for a finance manager that,
Besides that, in the time span, they couldn't have done
you just,
it. Your new finance manager didn't have access to the information. They couldn't have done it.
well, but it's all in the records. They go over the records and see
Believe
what they
me,
can.
Frank.
This is how Heather did the budget.
Believe me, Frank, I weighed all the options
Frank,
and I saw that that was not a viable option.
Yeah,
It took me
I just
months.
feel this was their job, and give them that chance to do that, because this is who we're
They'll have a
paying.
chance next year.
yep,
That's who, yeah, well, it's already, go ahead. Sorry.
no, they'll have it next year.
She just said it took her several months
It
to
took-
do that.
yeah,
It wasn't just a couple
it-
weeks or whatever. It took
Right,
a long
it
time.
wasn't something that you could comb through in, a week's time, in addition to all of the other duties.
Well, when I get up here before, I asked what qualifies you to do that, and if you could do it and do it that simple, there could have been things overlooked, but I just look at what we're paying. We're paying important people to do this. If they could save 0.5%, it might have a big bearing on what goes on with the town, and this is what I was looking at.
Frank, if you looked at the line items, here is the cold crux of it. If you looked at the line items, there was nothing that could be changed. Okay? You could change it, but during the year, you'd probably have to add it back in because you'd be undercutting what was really needed. So the budget is bare bones. The issue that I banked on was the fact of if you have 15% or better than 15% of a yearly budget in reserve, why not use it? That's what I was saying. Why not use it? And council felt different. That was the whole crux of it.
Well, I'll still go back to my original saying, we have people, experienced people that do this and give them that opportunity. I think the citizens of the town deserve that because this is what they're paying for. And maybe they wouldn't find nothing, Leo, but I would be more at ease knowing that somebody else tried, and I'm not criticizing Heather or the council for doing what they did, but here's an opportunity, and I'd like to see that happen.
Frank, just a thought. Even if we are to find something, and I intend to keep my promise and really focus on that with them. And even if we do find something, the implementation of the changes that would have to occur in order to generate more income will take time. It's not something that in 1 week.
And that's what they need to do that. As far as rewriting all the bills, I'm sure they didn't do them bills until the budget was passed. So I think.
It's not just paying bills.
Yeah, I
It's-
didn't go
It's
through.
honoring contracts and renewing contracts. It's systems that are set up and have been implemented for a very long time. It's things that are set in place that are not that easily discarded in a week or 2 weeks' time.
Well, you know my side of it, so.
Absolutely. Thank you, Frank.
Thanks anyway.
Thank you. All right, action items. Could I have a motion to authorize the bill payments?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Geezy, second by Councilperson Kaufman to authorize the bill payments. Are there any questions, comments on these? No? All right. Hearing none, I have a motion by Councilperson Geezy, second by Councilperson Kaufman to authorize the bill payments. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, could I have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-51, setting the borough fee schedule for fiscal year 2025?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
A motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Geezy to adopt resolution 2024-51, setting the borough fee schedule for fiscal year 2025. Does anyone have?
I do. Let's see if I can find it. I thought that we had talked the last time about when a non-Columbia for-profit business,
Yes.
that would be less, but yet it's remained the same.
That was on my list as
Oh,
well.
well then Heather, go with your list.
Oh,
You just-
yeah, I have a list.
Okay, you go for it.
If you want me to start from the top.
Absolutely.
Okay. In the section of, the parking meter fees or parking violation fees, I still see that parking violation for Columbia Crossing is more than the others listed. I don't think I have an answer on why that is.
The violation, I believe, is set by code. So it's the type of violation, which is the parking in the boat trailer area. It's a $25 fine.
Okay. Maybe we change that terminology then to say parking violation in the boat / trailer parking instead of at Columbia Crossing. Because otherwise it looks like anywhere in River Park would be
Sure.
there.
Well, would that work if there is a trailer parked along a borough street?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
That is actually an ordinance that sets that parking fine down in that area.
Right.
So that really is not a fee, that is an ordinance, okay?
Oh,
If you go
okay.
down there, it's actually posted and it references the ordinance number.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Betty.
well, the fee schedule references the ordinance section
Okay.
as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. All right.
Question.
Yep.
If you're saying the fine amount is in the ordinance,
That's correct.
then the ordinance needs to be changed.
Right, to reflect the fee schedule.
I would say that the ordinance needs to be changed to say this fee as adopted in the borough fee schedule, because what you don't want to have is you change it in here one year and forget to change the ordinance, and then you've got a contradiction, which is a problem.
If I remember correctly, we haven't made that change yet to the ordinance to take out the
No.
fee schedule, to take out.
That, those references.
There's
to
a
fee-
whole lot of those throughout the ordinance,
Yeah,
Leo.
but what I'm saying though is, in order for them to be handled at the district justice properly, those things have to happen. So you can't charge someone according to the fee schedule. You have to charge them according to the ordinance.
Well,
Yeah.
we're setting the fee schedule to equal the ordinance.
I thought you were going above it.
No,
Oh, okay.
no,
I thought you were going above it.
Yeah.
yeah,
I thought
no.
I heard an amount above
So it's 25.
Mhm.
it. Okay.
Yeah, I was just asking why they were
But
different.
but to add to that, there was discussion some time ago, several years ago, about fine amounts being removed from all ordinances.
Yes,
And that's something that
yeah, that's,
should be taken care of.
yeah, that we were trying to work on that. We'll give that to Kelly, because he's legislative lead now.
It should be relatively simple.
Well, you would think that. I started to work on that, and it was not as,
It's going to be a long ordinance
it's
is
gonna
what,
be a really long
Yeah.
ordinance.
yeah.
So,
It might be a catch-all.
all right. The next one I have is in the code compliance fees. I do not recall talking about raising the quick ticket to $50 for the first offense. Did we talk about that?
We did, but I don't think anybody agreed to it.
Well, it's on here as $50 for the first thing. And then the second offense is 50 plus an NOV, and then the third is the $500. I didn't recall us talking about raising it from $25.
I thought there was something.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. I think there was discussion. I just don't remember us even agreeing to that.
Yeah, I don't, and if it is in fact being raised to 50, then the quick ticket appeal fee should be 50. You want the appeal fee to be the same amount as the ticket. You don't want them to be able to pay $25, appeal it and lose and think they're done. That's why, like, right now, it's $25 because that's what the cost of the quick ticket is.
But we don't currently make them pay $100 for an appeal fee if their quick ticket's $100. It's been 25 across the board.
I thought we talked about one quick ticket, then an NOV, and then the 500.
Yep.
Instead of all these steps.
Yeah, that's what's in here.
I thought you said the first, second, third.
Well, that's what it has. First offense, $50. Second offense, $50 plus an NOV. Third
then-
offense is $500.
See,
Yeah.
I thought it was one offense and then the NOV 500, not second
Oh.
offense.
No, it was,
You have to give a notice of violation.
yeah, they have to give them that.
Mhm.
So that would be, the first offense is quick ticket, the second offense is an NOV, third offense is a
But
fine.
NOV without any money,
Right.
but I thought you said $50.
Yeah, but
Well, it says
honestly,
50, yeah.
I think they should have a fine along with the NOV.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you,
What if we,
yeah, with an NOV, a fine with that is gonna get struck down.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
the second is just the NOV. I'm just going.
That's, and then to me, I mean, you guys can, but like, once you give them an NOV, it's a fine that can be administered every single day. So you can fine them up to $600 or $1,000, depending on the offense, every single day after that. So I don't know why you'd even need a third offense, I guess would be my question, right? Like after that, it's just NOVs and at the maximum allowable fine rate. That would be my thought there, but that's up to you
I
guys.
think currently our NOV states that they exceed their time frame, and they're given time to correct it, correct?
Yeah, an NOV has to give a certain amount, it has to do a bunch of things, but one of them is give them a reasonable amount of time to correct whatever the violation
So
is.
the $500 wouldn't kick in until that time period ended.
Mhm.
Right.
So
But
that's
you-
the third, that's technically the third
Yeah.
offense we're talking
Yep.
about.
Yeah, well, yes, yeah,
As
but I
Evan
wouldn't
said,
cap,
You could attach that every day.
hey, yeah, I would not put a cap on yourself of $500,
No,
depending on this. So after, if you send someone an NOV and it gives the, just as an example, if someone hasn't mowed their grass, right, and you want to give them a notice of, you've given them a quick ticket, nothing's happened, you go to the NOV and they have 7 days to mow their grass. After that 7th day, the Pennsylvania Borough Code and your code allow you to impose, I mean, you have to go to the district justice to get it, but fine a penalty of up to $600 every day if it's a civil violation, which in most cases, that's what you do. So you could, after 3 days, that fine could be $1,800 or something like that. And you can continue to have NOVs as long as you want, as long as that person is not complying with what needs to be done. So I don't know if I would put a cap on yourself of $500. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you want to go after everyone for the maximum amount, but sometimes the severity and I'll say depravity of not responding at all, warrants that.
So then the fee schedule would say first offense, $50. Maybe instead of second offense, it's,
It's an NOV.
if not corrected or.
Mhm. I don't even know I don't know if you need to put that in the
No.
fee schedule because that
No.
really is dependent upon the violation. And
Right, yeah, so just take out the
Yep.
second and third offense.
Yeah, you get one quick
You do
ticket and
Quick
then it's
ticket, $50,
Yep.
and then that's it.
So I don't agree with $50.
I don't either. I think it shouldn't be $50. I thought we were keeping it at 25. That's your warning.
I think if you're gonna eliminate all that other stuff, that's reasonable.
Well, I just,
I mean, the $25 is reasonable,
Mhm.
because then you're gonna get action.
Yep.
as
And
a,
I think that was one of the big problems that we had with the quick tickets, was they just keep on going and going and going and going. This year, so $25.
That's your
This-
warning.
Yeah, that's your warning, and that is good for the residents who make a mistake,
Mhm.
okay? So 20, rather than $50. So the $25, and then after that, that resident that makes a mistake and he pays his $25, he's not gonna do that again. But it's the chronic violator that you want to attach more to.
Mhm.
And by doing what you're suggesting, I think is the correct way to go.
And I could say from my perspective, giving that person a chance with either a warning letter, or in this case, a quick ticket with a very small fine, that is good if we have to go to the district justice, because it shows that you've given someone a chance to reasonably correct what's wrong before you went to that larger fine. That really does, it helps your case, so.
Quick ticket books haven't been ordered though, right?
No,
To reflect that, okay.
Nope.
Because I know you said you needed to order them, so.
we do.
Yes, Frank.
As soon as these are done,
Okay.
we will order.
How is that defined in the ordinance? That, I'll give you an example, if I'm the landlord and I get a quick ticket for 201 South Second Street, that's a quick ticket for that. Now, if I got another part of town, I get another quick ticket for a different property, does that go against that first quick ticket?
No.
Is it defined in the ordinance that way?
Yeah, the quick tickets are per property.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
Madam President, can we return to the pet section on page 1, 82-6789?
No, it's not.
The police department had proposed an escalating fee for multiple offenses. $50 for the first offense, $100 for the second offense, and $200 for the third offense.
That's in here.
Oh, it is?
Yes, it's on there.
Mhm.
Is it on page 2?
No, it's on page 1 of 9.
On the
Very
bottom of
bottom.
one.
I don't see it
Do you
either.
have the updated fee schedule?
I
Jeff?
printed this off of the website.
any dog detained or any
Oh,
dog?
no, in the minutes or in the packet for
The
tonight?
agenda, yes. So
Oh,
I have it.
I don't see it in my.
First offense
okay.
50,
As
second
long as
offense
it's in there,
100.
great.
yeah.
Third-
Oh, yeah, you don't have that.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
And that just
Yeah, it's in
escalates
here.
though.
Yep,
If someone's
yep.
dog gets out 4 times, it's 200.
That's
Or if it
correct.
stays at that
Any,
and
Right,
more
third
they
or
get.
subsequent offense.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
that's correct. Thank you.
Now, what if 2 dogs do it from your house? Is it, what is it?
Look,
Is it
it's
one-
dog
one
dependent.
I'm
dog?
feeling attacked here.
I'm just saying, no, I'm not attacking.
So we
No,
actually-
I'm just saying, how's that work? If it's 2 dogs, do you get it for both or just one time?
We
for-
actually keep a spreadsheet and
Okay,
take photographs of the animals when we have them in custody. So we're able to identify the dogs
Okay.
along with the owners.
Mine
Small
haven't been
prints?
out in quite
All
some
prints
time.
do, yes. It's mug shots.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm asking.
Mine haven't
I
been
think
out in
it's
quite some time. All right.
That's a good one, Erica.
And then let's see. The next on the list was what Barb, questioned, the special event fees. I thought we were talking about changes to those, and I don't see any changes in the proposed fee schedule.
Yeah, I think we talked about that if it costs us $35 an hour for a police officer to be on duty, to keep that rate also for the nonprofit.
Right.
And the same for the working an event, the one under it. If it's $50 an hour, then keep that $50 an hour.
And I thought we were keeping it the same for all, and then we would just, at the meeting where we approved the special event permit, we would waive the fees for the nonprofits.
Okay.
I thought that's what we had said. Am I remembering that right?
Yep, I agree.
And then the application fee, I don't remember where we landed on that.
I don't think we came up with an amount. We just thought it should be lower.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought,
I'd almost go with the $50 and then we can waive it.
For all of them, you're saying just,
Yeah, just straight aboard $50 application fee. And then if it's a nonprofit that we want to waive it, we can waive it.
I do like keeping the late submission fee in there though.
The other reason I say that is any event takes planning.
Mhm.
Bigger events obviously take more planning, but there's still multiple people involved, so there is some time involved.
Mhm.
So I think on average, if it's $50 for an event to plan, that's $50. And if it's a nonprofit, we can waive it.
And then we need the public works employee cost to be the actual cost. And we're just gonna have one line for that and one line for the police officer.
Yep.
the actual cost.
Now, I will say this. Both public works and police officers, chances are they'll be on overtime during this.
Yes,
So do we make does that fee reflect overtime or is that straight time?
I believe it was
I believe-
overtime.
It's the overtime rate.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So, and then the trash dumping fee is gonna be the same for all. It's just gonna be one line.
Right. Yeah, also supposed to be just one.
And we're $50. We're good with that trash dumping fee.
That's
So
the
you're
actual
gonna
cost.
take out where it says nonprofit, for-profit, and just make that all one line.
Yes.
Just wanna make sure I'm clear.
Did I miss anything on that? Leo, were you raising your hand?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I need glasses, so I've been like taking them on.
I took mine off.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
because, and then I just see things out of the peripheral and, okay. And then next, the parking permit section for Avenue H lot, I thought we said we were removing that because we're not renting that out. It's already leased in one lump sum.
I thought so.
Did we, or was I imagining that?
I mean, we can leave it there, but it's not available. There's no lease spots available.
Right.
But
Yeah, I
if one would come open, that would be the price.
Okay. The HARB application fee. I see it was added here to add $250 if a staff report is required. I don't like the wording saying staff report because that looks like we're charging money for our staff. That's actually, am I correct in assuming that that is for the historic preservation in Lancaster?
Yeah.
So we need to word that better.
I thought they were doing that though.
They are, we're paying them to do that.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, because we need to have the expert to give us that opinion. I'm concerned about passing that fee on to the applicant.
Oh, my.
I'm afraid that if by adding that on there, because then you're talking about $300 just to put a HARB, an application in for HARB. I'm concerned we're going to have more people that are not going to do it because of that fee. That we're doing that because that's what we need to do to administer our ordinance, and I don't think that it's right. I know I'm big on we have to cover our costs, but I think we are covering our costs overall.
I think that's the price you pay for having a historic district.
Right, I do too. I think that's the cost of doing business.
Madam President.
Yes.
A suggestion. Because it's basically an unknown expenditure that the borough's going to have, could you put a line item in for that cost to show what you're paying for the year?
We do have it in the budget.
What you're paying,
Yeah, we do.
you have that in.
Mhm.
So you will know how much you're paying
Oh, yeah,
that
we do.
professional.
Yep, we
Good.
do.
I haven't looked at that one.
Mhm. Yeah, we do. I don't know the line item, the line off the top of my head, but
Okay,
it is in
as long as
there.
it's tracked.
It
and
is.
You can look and say, this is costing us a lot of money. We need to do something a little different here.
Right. What does everyone else think about that?
I agree with you.
I mean, I didn't remember seeing that the first time around, so.
There's quite a bit of cost that does occur because of this. You know, the HARB meeting might have 3 different buildings, so they charge us 3 different times. So it cost us $750 for one HARB meeting. And then you start doing that every month. You know, you could be looking
It's some
at
money.
upwards to $10,000 a year. That, I believe, was our rationale for trying to recover our expense. What council decides is
So in the past, we had,
When
An architect-
when we had Suzanne Stallings,
that's who it was.
they were not charged extra for her opinion. She was a line item in our budget
As a,
and as professional staff.
right. I think that's how we address it the same way. But we're just using the county instead of the
Right.
individual.
understood. Sure.
But I understand where you're going with that, and I appreciate you looking at that way, but I think for the HARB district, we leave that alone.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the line that's. But again, I think I can appreciate saying, oh, if we have 3 in one meeting, that's $750. And I appreciate looking at it as, like I said, covering our costs. But at the same time, if we're doing a better job in-house of identifying what actually needs to go to HARB and versus things that don't need to go to HARB, we have a lot less that go down to them for
Oh,
that opinion.
I would agree 100% there.
I think part of that, those council has to define,
I think it's pretty well defined. I mean,
well,
for example, if it says that, and this is one that I've seen recently, that windows, if it's like materials, it doesn't need to go to Harvard, it can be an administrative approval, or, no, here's the good one. The stuff is none of it is street facing. It's on the side and the back of the house. And then we send it down there to get their opinion. It should never even go to Harvard anyway.
oh, I
So-
don't disagree.
so,
That's-
you know, those are the kind of things I'm saying, is that we should not be paying $250 to get an opinion on if a back door complies with the ordinance or not. If a back door should be given a certificate of appropriateness.
I think the biggest hangup is some properties are viewable from the street, which makes it more difficult
Right.
to say. I mean, I understand where our departments come from because, like, for example, we did one where it was a rooftop railing in the back of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you can't see it from the front of the house, but where it was located, you could see it from a side street. So it went to Harb. To me, it shouldn't have went to Harb, but at the same time, then you had the chip factory, who's going to take up Locust and Second Street. The address is Locust, or the address is going to be Second, so does it, the face of chip factory go to Harb, or is it just Second? You see what I'm saying?
Right, I do. I
It's
do.
it is confusing, and
Mhm.
I think with all the changes that were going on, a lot of stuff was just
Mhm.
just to be safe, let's do it this way. But yes,
But yeah, and when it comes into consistency there as well, because like then there was the property on South Fifth Street. You could see the whole side of that property from South Fifth Street because it was on that little
mhm.
hunky. And then it was, none of that stuff needed to go to Harb. But it did, and like,
I know, it's just
yeah,
it's almost like we ought to set up a strict. Exactly.
Yeah.
Stand in front of the,
You could certainly define it as from the address, the street on which, the
200
address
feet back
is.
from the address, what
Yeah.
can you view?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, honestly, that's really the fair way, and that covers everybody from confusion of, I can still see it, but
That was discussed many times.
I understand that.
And I agree with you, it should be the facade according to the street address.
Right.
Because, I'll give you an example. Some of the corner properties, you can see three sides of that property.
Yep.
You can see the back, the side, and the front.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them, you can see all four sides.
Right.
If it's two-way street, you can see all four sides.
Right.
So-
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying 100%. And I was just trying to defend our department. But I think as council, we need to do a favor for them, which would help cut costs
yes.
is define it properly.
Right.
We'll give that to Kelly too.
Hmm?
We'll give that one to Kelly too.
Yeah. He's listening because he just texted
So you may
me.
have to make some changes to define it.
Oh, I understand. I understand.
All right.
So can I ask at this point, or are you looking at keeping it at $50 for the application fee, take off the additional $250?
I am in favor of that because I do think that having them pay for the Historic Preservation Society fee is going to drive more people to not submit their thing, and they're gonna take their chances and do it without a permit, and then say, all these people are doing it without a permit and not getting caught, I'm gonna roll the dice, because 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna get caught. And they're gonna do it on a weekend, and so I say no. But I don't know.
So our current construction permit is how much? That's percentage. That's percentage based.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Percentage of the project.
Right.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't HARB be that?
Because the harm is just determining if it's if it's appropriate
Yeah.
or not.
They'd still be required to get a building permit.
Yeah, they still have to
Yeah.
get the building permit.
Harb is more like
Okay.
a zoning hearing decision, if you will, and that it's kind of
Yeah.
a use allowance, and then you go to the building permit.
So now I kind of go the other way. Why would we charge them at all?
Well, I think that $50 covers the extra work that's going into the hard processing. Because not everything that comes in necessarily needs the building permit.
It needs to be put, the property needs to be posted.
Yeah.
You have administration that has to look at it and determine whether it's in kind or not.
Well, we paid for that. We already said that.
Well, no, I mean, that's what the zoning officer is looking for. So,
$50 is recouping the cost of your administrative work.
right.
And that's far cheaper than any, I'll say specifically your zoning hearing fees, but specifically anyone's zoning hearing fees, right? Those are all $500 to $1,000 in most municipalities, whereas this is $50, even though it honestly involves a lot of the same types of things.
All right. Street excavation without a permit. I thought we were increasing that fee.
Yes, that's what Jake asked for. You're right. You did, yes.
I couldn't remember, and since we normally see what it was and what's changed, and since we
Yeah.
didn't see what's changed, I couldn't remember what it was.
Yes.
So we're good with the 500, Jake? All right. So concludes my questions. Does anyone else have any questions?
Just real quick, Heather. At the top of page 7 there, right above the HARB application fee, there's 2 fees for a zoning determination letter. One says simple and one says complex.
Oh.
And I'm just wondering.
I forgot that. Who determines
And
that?
I was going to ask that question, yeah, because I
Yeah.
can see that becoming an issue. Just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Oh, yeah, I think that needs to be better defined. Did we always have it like that? Who determines if it's simple or complex?
So what's the difference?
I can remember when Donna did some, hers were very simple, but there are complexities to, I think Alex just had one a week or 2 ago that involved a lot. Working with his and Alex to, the research he needed to do to get that done. Majority of them are.
I'd be good with just one fee.
I would too. Split the difference, $75. Or keep it at 50 and
Is it defined in our ordinance, simple and complex?
no, I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, then I would just go with 50.
Mhm.
Do we have to be really precise in this? Like, could we put additional fees may be charged if, I don't know. You can't do that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. It gets very murky very quickly, and yeah, unless there's no real way to quantify that unless you're keeping track of, for instance, how many hours it takes or something like that, and you guys don't generally do that, so.
It would all be subjective.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right, anything else? Um, At this point, we have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman and a second by Councilperson Geezy to adopt the resolution setting the fee schedule for fiscal year 25.
I'd like to,
I was gonna say, do we still, at this point, we would call for a vote. If we would like to relook at this, we just vote no and the motion fails.
that's fine. That's
So-
a quick, easy way.
Yeah, that's the easier way to do it. I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Geezy to adopt Resolution 2024-51, setting the borough fee schedule for fiscal year 2025. All in favor? Anyone opposed?
No.
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 I know.
Next, could I have a motion to authorize staff to advertise the Borough of Columbia public meeting schedule for 2025?
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Geezy, to authorize staff to advertise the public meeting schedule for 2025. Are there any questions, comments, concerns? I think they were all right. We've already said we know there is definitely gonna be one change. We're just not sure which one it is yet. Because
My-
there is gonna be a special election sometime in,
My understanding, it wasn't going to be
what?
a special election.
Yes, there it is.
The other is,
No, but my understanding is it's going to be on the same date as the primary election.
did they set that yet? Because they haven't said it yet. The governor hasn't said it yet, as far as I know.
No, that was my understanding from
Oh,
talking to some people from the county.
no, the governor has to set the
I
date.
understand, yes.
Yeah,
That's what they were looking at.
yeah, I don't know. So,
Well, this will stand until that happens.
right. If we need one, if we need to change, we will. Are there any other questions or comments on the meeting schedule? All right, I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Geezy, to authorize staff to advertise the Borough of Columbia public meeting schedule for 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Got meeting schedule. Next, we have a bunch of appointments and reappointments for board, commission, and committee members. Do you want to go down through these? I for one was a little taken aback because I thought we were going to get the list of ones that were to be appointed and reappointed before we were to vote on them. So, if we want to vote tonight, we can. If we want to wait, we can. Since this is new business, it hasn't come to us before.
So would that be an alternate? Or is she going to be on?
I'm under the impression that it's a regular member. I have to look. Mary,
She's the only one I know. Everybody else will be board members. Committee members.
Okay, I'm here as chair of planning now. We are supposed to be a 7-member board. We currently have 6 members.
Okay.
At our November Planning Commission meeting, Deb Leclerc's name was put forward to be appointed as a full-time member of the Planning Commission. That recommendation was to come to council. The reason that we are looking at a 1-year appointment is because under the municipality's planning code, as a planning commission of 8 or fewer members, we are 7, we can only reappoint 2 members a year. So at this point, you are seeing the reappointment request on there for Justin Evans and Brad Lynn, who are longtime members of the Planning Commission. If Deb were to be appointed for a 4-year term, that would have us reappointing 3 persons in that 4-year cycle. So I'm here tonight requesting that appointment be made. At our meeting last week, we had our workshop at 6 o'clock. Of our 6 members, we had 3 there. Being as it was a workshop, we did not have a quorum. We held discussion. Fortunately, for our meeting at 7 o'clock, those members who were not in attendance at the workshop made it. We had a gentleman there looking for the 2nd month, approval of his plan. We didn't approve it in November because we didn't have the comments back from Lancaster County Planning. That would have been a developer who would have been at Planning Commission for 2 meetings, unable to get the approval he needed from us, because we possibly would have not had a quorum to move forward. And as to the reappointment of the 2 gentlemen who are on there, Justin Evans is very qualified. He was formerly with Lancaster County Planning Commission. I think he presently serves as zoning officer in Mountjoy Township. I feel very fortunate to have him with his knowledge sitting next to me on that Planning Commission. As for Brad, he is a resident of Columbia. His wife also serves on the Planning Commission. And they are very diligent. Brad is very diligent in researching and attending the meetings of the Planning Commission. So I am here tonight as chair to request that the Borough Council tonight appoint Deb Leclerc to the Planning Commission and to please reappoint Justin Evans and Brad Lynn to that commission. Are there any questions?
Does the 1 year fall in line with?
Yes, it does. That
So
will fall, that will,
That creates a schedule.
to
correct?
come to you for reappointment of Deb at the end of '25, that will fall in line with that planet, with the MPC,
Cycle.
that we would only be appointing 2 at a time.
So with the exception of Deb and Chris on Parks and Rec, who desperately needs somebody.
And I can
Everybody
still,
else is a continuation, so I'd have no problem voting tonight.
Eric, I can still need alternates on Planning Commission. That is what happened with Kelly going to council. Nathan Roach, who was my alternate on planning,
Yeah.
moved into that position, and we were still short a full-time, fully appointed member for Planning Commission.
Mary, would Deb be fulfilling someone else's term? Is that
Basically, yes, there was a term we weren't able to go back far enough to determine what term she would be filling, but that is how we are viewing it, that she is filling an unexpired term.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you.
Well, yeah, I have a question, Mary. So, just you know me, I'll ask the tough questions. So, you having a problem meeting quorum? That's not the first time you've had that issue. Are Justin or Brad part of the reason you can't make quorum sometimes?
I will say, Brad, on occasion, yes. Justin has been very diligent. And I don't know, that was the closest I have ever come to not being able to do quorum.
And Brad has, he has issues, right, that allows him to.
Yes, it was your term that I had you on planning.
Yes.
I lost 2 of my planning commission members to
Like
council.
he just doesn't blow them off.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. And what has happened is there is an issue there, which I will not bring forth
Yeah.
tonight, but there have been times where family issues have necessitated that he was not able to attend.
Well, normally with Brad, when you lose one, you lose 2.
Unfortunately.
And I mean,
But at this point,
in my mind,
Heather, I'm looking at being able to seat a full planning commission board. And in most cases, I will have a quorum.
Evan,
Yes.
Brad is a family member of mine.
Mhm.
Can I vote?
Absolutely, yeah. You're not getting any pecuniary gain, any monetary gain from him being on the planning commission, unfortunately.
I like that word.
Mary, we won't hold that against Brad at all.
Well, no, I didn't know if I couldn't vote, the discussion is pretty much dead.
100% you can vote on this. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I just,
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying, because it gets frustrating. And it's not planning commission as much as some of the other boards you go to. And
Well-
there's not enough people, or they don't show up, or
well,
whatever.
right. I mean, I'm looking at 2 of the boards that we just want to fill, we just saying we want to put a body so we have the full board. And then, I mean, we as council, these are our boards, our commissions. We set the tone. If we're happy to rubber stamp and not be thoughtful about things, then do it. But
Well,
we can't then be mad when things don't go and keep moving and do what we want. I had fully intended in talking with Steve for the workshop in January, since we did not get to it at the last workshop, talking about council and doing committees or keeping it as committee of the whole with the leads and things like that. I also said it's been a while since we have set goals and priorities from the council standpoint. But I would like to have the bigger discussion, not just of our goals and priorities, but specifically for planning, HARB, and Parks and Rec specifically. Would like to know which direction, because I had been told that planning would like to know from us about the zoning, the text amendments for McGinnis and things.
That letter is on its way to you right now.
Well, right. I mean, I was kind of miffed because we don't need a formal letter. You know what I mean? Like Eric's there.
Well, this is what was suggested by the
So-
borough engineer to lay it out there.
Yeah,
that-
so, I mean, I'm thinking that's what we need to do. And if that's what we're going to do, maybe we talk about the appointment in terms of what's best for the board and not just rubber stamp things just to get a body in the seat.
I think what's best for our board is to be able to have bodies, to have those people who care, people who have experience, who have been there, and who have taken the time to do the training, who have the knowledge, and who have the commitment to the board that they are on. And before I leave, I'm going to ask, I received an email requesting a member of the Planning Commission to be at Borough Council's workshop meeting on January 7th. Do you have any idea what the subject of that is for Planning Commission?
Yeah, what I just said.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Setting the
Okay.
priorities and everything else.
Thank you.
So that you
Thank you.
can hear our discussion
Mhm.
and know and take that back to your board that here's our marching orders, so to speak.
Well, we are in workshop mode now, working on zoning, and we will be putting that aside to work on the McGinnis language zoning. Okay?
Yeah, so I mean, that was my whole
Okay,
intent of that.
I wasn't sure if that's what you were, that's why I thought this is a time for me to get clarification on
Yeah,
that.
that's where I
Okay.
was going is I think we all need to, because several of us, I mean, we seem to be on different
Yeah.
pages and
And all it requested was a member of Planning Commission. So
Mhm.
I did respond to Tiffany that I will be attending that meeting.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, you can have more come. I just wanted
Okay.
someone there.
I would actually prefer all of them there and have a discussion.
Yeah.
Well, we were going to get together on that short-term rental. We're
Right.
digressing here now. You're on one to
But
appointments
yeah, I
right
mean,
now.
that way council can, they can hear where
Mhm.
the priorities are and, you know, where we're hoping to go.
So
Okay.
do we have anybody else who applied for these positions?
You
No.
mean people that aren't being considered?
Yes.
No.
So,
I don't think we've done a good enough job though of putting out there that we want people to volunteer.
I can honestly say for Parks and Recs, the last 4 or 5 events that they've had, they've been pushing for volunteers.
Mhm.
And we had 2 that initially filled out forms and then they backed out.
Mhm.
We do have Chris, but they struggle each month trying to just
Have quorum.
have quorum. So, yes, I know it's a rush, but I would like to get Chris on Parks and Rec so they can meet, especially starting the new year. With Parks and Recs, there's a lot of time involved in planning, especially when you only meet once a month.
Well,
So, like the 4th of July event is only 6 months away. And they really even haven't started planning on anything. So that's why I'd really like to start the year out with full, or as many committee members as possible. I'm sorry it is last minute.
right.
This shouldn't have been. This should have been happening sooner.
Well, here's my concern. Like this goes back to the conversation we had a couple of years ago about Parks and Rec. Do we want them focused on doing events or do we want them focused on our parks and those kinds of things? And because the other part of this is whatever we task our boards with doing, we have to have staff support to support them. And if we don't have the staff to support it, that's a problem. So,
What do you mean by staff?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
so if we're asking the planning commission to work on, different, different ordinances or all the zoning text amendments and things like that, they need support from, they're gonna need support from the staff in here, zoning officer in here. They're gonna need, they may need help from Evan, they may need help from Derek, things like that.
Yeah, but that's a one-off.
If we're going to have Parks and Rec do events and all of this, they need staff to help coordinate different things. They need to make sure that, that kind of stuff. They're not doing it in a vacuum. So we have to keep that in mind as well. My concern with Chris on the Parks and Rec is he's already overextended. And is he going to have that? And really, if we want them focused on our parks, Chris is more of the events guy. So that changes, or, do we want them to do events, or do we want them to, do you know what I'm saying? That's a conversation.
I thought of the same thing, that he's overextended.
Can you have the conversation with these people by them coming here instead of just getting names? That way, when there are questions, you can ask the actual person.
Yeah. And I mean, we could have.
And that was my concern with the whole thing.
Right. And because normally we get the list,
Right, yes.
the before, so we could say who we.
So if our Parks and Rec people are responsible strictly for parks, and we already pay somebody to cut our grass, why do we have a Parks and Recs committee?
Well, that's the question. What do we want them to do? That's what I'm saying.
That's where the recreation comes in.
I mean, we were saying before, we want them to get people in our parks. What can we do to get people in our parks, and using our parks for the appropriate thing?
Mhm.
Is that not what we want them to do now?
Yeah, we can do recreation in our parks.
Parks and Rec, from the time that was put in the borough, created by the borough, has failed.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because they're looking over parks that are strictly maintained. That's all the parks are used for.
Well, I look at Parks and Rec, that they should be similar to the River Park Steering Committee, where they advise council of things that are needed.
Right.
The reason it failed, my thoughts are, the reason it fails every time I've seen this is they went in and tried to do events. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of people. So it fails and they bail out. So they should be a recommending body to you on what's needed in the parks for recreation, not doing projects or events. And that will keep people going. The River Park Steering Committee has been in existence for 20-some years. And it recommends to council things that they see needed changed or needed added. And that's the way I look at Parks and Rec for your parks.
Mm-hmm.
Not to create an event. And I think that's why it's failed. There was a point in time when they tried to start a summer program, bought a bunch of equipment and everything else, and no kids showed up. And that's because the summer programs were being held by several churches and the Boys and Girls Club and things like that there. So there just wasn't enough kids to go around. The same way with Columbia Boys and Girls Athletic Association. So they're the events.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. We as a board need to have the bigger discussion of what do we want these boards to do? Where do we want, and the hard. We keep saying we want the educational materials, things like that. I think if we can give them clear direction and they can hear it from us, this is what needs done. Because the other part of this is, you know, Parks and Rec, if you have bodies on there, are they really, if they can't meet quorum, is throwing another body on there just to meet quorum, is that really effective? And if we have people that are not showing up month after month after month, these people serve at our pleasure. If they're not showing up, then why are we keeping them and not, if we can't get more people for the boards, it doesn't matter if they're there or not.
I don't
Do you
know
know what I
what-
mean?
I don't know what got you to this point, but Mary, to me, just exhibited what used to happen. And I don't know if it happened behind the scenes, where the chair of the committee recommended to council reappointments or additions. And I don't know if you got that.
We didn't.
No.
See,
We didn't.
so you're just,
And
you're
we don't
attempting to do
know
a carte blanche, and you don't know the
exactly.
effectiveness of those, nothing against these people, because I know most of them, but you don't know their effectiveness. The committee chair should be, whether it's coming into the office and seeing Steve and say, would you please have council
Right.
recommend reappointment of these people, or come into a meeting however you please. But that's what should happen. I think that was a good example,
Mhm.
and that's how you get committees that are working.
Well, right, that's what I was expecting to have
Yeah.
gotten, and we didn't. So, I mean, some of them, like Bill Ploy on the vacancy
Yeah.
board, he's been on, and we're gonna have to figure out something. I think this is gonna be his last year. He's gonna want to do the vacancy board. And I thought of that. I was like, oh shoot, that's a yearly thing.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that aren't really, they have positions, but they're not really committees like your zoning, planning, or.
Like the police pension board meets what?
Twice a year.
Twice a year? I was just gonna say twice a year, but then I was second guessing myself. You know, that's, and I mean, civil service, they do their thing. We don't have to give them direction, but I think like the planning commission, Parks and Rec, and HARB are ones that I think they really need to hear from us to know what their priority is and to get those marching orders, so to speak. Would that be helpful, Mary? I mean, you guys were sending a letter to us saying you wanted our opinion on something anyway. I figured this is an easier way to make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay, like Leo said, we've been making recommendations to council every year on appointments and reappointments. And I don't know what the issue is this year.
Well,
We
didn't get
This
the recommendation.
I have never sent a separate recommendation letter. It has always been part of the minutes that you receive from the planning commission. The recommendation.
Can I just state something too? We did, Heather, a few weeks ago, try and put Chris and Deb on an agenda and was told to take them back off.
Well,
So,
I said I wanted all of the appointments and reappointments on at the same time, not onesie twosies, because we were coming up on the end of the year. And I didn't want them on in the middle of December if we were looking at everyone else at the end of December.
That's like with Brad and Justin, their term's up the end of this month.
Well, right. And
You know, so-
we normally do the appointments either the last meeting of December or the first meeting in January.
Mhm. So you have them all here now.
I am good with voting, and then perhaps we can, at the work session, create some details and some projections as to where we want to see everyone go, but vote tonight.
Derek, Joanne?
I'm okay voting.
I'm okay.
All right. Do I have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-41, appointing Deborah Claire to the Planning Commission for 1-year term?
So moved.
Second.
The motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Geezy, to adopt resolution 2024-41, appointing Deborah Claire to Planning Commission for a 1-year term. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, could I have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-42, appointing Christopher Vera to Parks and Recreation for a 4-year term?
So moved.
Second.
The motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Geezy, to adopt resolution 2024-42, appointing Christopher Vera to Parks and Recreation for a 4-year term. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
No.
Next, could I have a motion to adopt resolution,
Was that 2 to 2?
oh, yeah, shoot, 2 to 2.
So mayor votes?
The mayor votes.
Chris.
Chris Vera on Parks and Rec. No. I was like going down through, I'm in the zone, so that's a no. Do I have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-43, appointing Justin Evans to Planning Commission for a 4-year term?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Geezy, to adopt resolution 2024-43, reappointing Justin Evans to Planning Commission for a 4-year term. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, could I have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-44, reappointing Brad Lynn to Planning Commission for a 4-year term?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Geezy, to adopt resolution 2024-44, reappointing Brad Lynn to Planning Commission for a 4-year term. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Did you vote?
No.
Leo, you gotta break it.
Yes.
Next, could I have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-45, reappointing Brian Brandt to Harb for a 5-year term?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Geezy, to adopt resolution 2024-45, reappointing Brian Brandt to Harb for a 5-year term. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, could I have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-46, reappointing Peter Gallardo, Peter K., to Harb for a 5-year term?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Geezy, to adopt resolution 2024-46, reappointing Peter K. to the Harb for a 5-year term. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, could I have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-47, reappointing Tom Ziegler to Civil Service Commission for a 6-year term?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Geezy, to adopt resolution 2024-47, reappointing Tom Ziegler to Civil Service Commission for a 6-year term. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, could I have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-48, reappointing Daniel Bell to the Police Pension Board for a 2-year term?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Geezy, to adopt resolution 2024-48, reappointing Daniel Bell to the Police Pension Board for a 2-year term. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
On this next one, Councilperson Geezy should not vote on this. Just want to make sure.
Can't do it then.
How does
She's
that?
still, she can, yeah, it's just, you have a quorum, but
Okay.
it will just be a
Okay.
vote of the three of you who
Okay.
can vote. She can abstain and still be part of the.
Quorum, okay.
Yeah.
Next, could I have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-49, reappointing Joanne Geezy to the Police Pension Board for a 2-year term?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Kaufman to adopt resolution 2024-49, reappointing Joanne Geezy to the Police Pension Board for a 2-year term. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Thank you.
And finally, could I have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-50, reappointing William Cloyd to the vacancy board for a 1-year term?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Geezy to adopt resolution 2024-50, appointing William Cloyd to the vacancy board for a 1-year term. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. And 11B was removed, so we're down to staff reports, comments, and announcements. Solicitor Gable.
I do not have anything further at this time other than Merry Christmas, everyone, and I look forward to 2025 and keeping getting things done.
All right. Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Kaufman. Kaufhold. Kaufman, Kaufhold, whatever. All you
Family
cougars.
issue there. I'll
All
tell
you
that.
cougars.
So I just have two things to report. You did not see on the agenda today about the 9th and Franklin Street building. The bids were due today to purchase that building. No bids came in. So on the 14th, I'm going to be asking council to approve RFPs for demo. It's kind of where we're at. Unfortunately, there was just no interest in the building. The second thing is our office hours. We will be closed tomorrow after noon. We will reopen Friday morning at normal business hours. We will also be closed on New Year's Day. That's all I have.
All right. Boards, commissions, and committees, there's no upcoming meetings. In your packet, there's Planning Commission minutes from October 15th and Parks and Rec minutes from October 10th. Borough Council comments, Councilperson Geezy.
Nothing.
Councilperson Kaufman.
Nothing.
Councilperson Fisher.
I just have a question. Paula, did you tape this meeting on your little recorder? Is there any reason why you didn't follow Evan's advice and write that on the agenda and announce it at the beginning of the meeting?
Sign posted on the door.
Okay. Well, I just take really seriously his advice. We've been, criticized a lot for things like that. So, thank you.
All right.
Is that something we have to remember to announce that?
We're going to in the future, right where the note is, right under the agenda, we're going to just put that we're recording, also live streaming for YouTube. That way
And that's
we're-
not a problem anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I also, I wanted to, I had one thing. I know we've been asked several times, and there have been citizens that have been asking about the Text My Gov and why we're not seeing alerts and things like that. So here's the deal. We're gonna have to revisit this in January, possibly at the workshop, if not the first meeting of the year. But we have exhausted the amount that we can send. And if we want to get extended for 3 more months, we have to pay $750. The contract is up for it. If we extend the contract for 3 years, if we re-sign for 3 years, there is no limit. What?
No,
No what?
there is a limit. So it is just another initial $5,500 for the contract. Once we utilize enough minutes again, it's at a $750 block.
Yeah.
that
How
we
many-
keep paying.
How many do you get? Like, how many messages you can,
So I do have all that. I don't have it in my head.
Yeah,
Okay.
But-
so
but I was gonna bring that
yeah,
up.
I
at the
asked them to
workshop.
bring it forward to a
Okay.
future meeting, but I wanted everyone to be aware, the reason we're not getting text my govs is because we've exhausted our number of things that we can send, and they want $750 to send them. I've asked Manager Caulfield to come to a future meeting with the number of people we have signed up with Text My Gov, the number of things that inquiries we're getting in that people are texting in, actually asking questions to get directed to our website, things like that, so we can make an informed decision if we want to continue this service or not.
So I have a question about that.
Mhm.
If we ran out, we've been for a year now asking people or longer, asking people to sign up to Text My Gov. We run out in October and we just didn't do anything about it. Just stopped sending it out. Why wasn't that brought to council in October that we exceeded our limit and we either had to pay $750 and make a decision at that point rather than go to the rest of the year without doing anything? I think it's a disservice to the people of Columbia for just not doing anything. And why would I bother with that service if we're just going to drop it when we feel like it? I have a serious problem with that. It's $750. It's something that the manager could have taken care of without even coming to council. I respect that he waited to come to council or whatever, but that's a service that we provide and we advertise that we're providing that service. I can't get it off my computer when I go to the website.
I know.
Yet, we don't provide it. I just think it's ridiculous. Either drop the program, call, vote, drop the program, or pay for a service and move on.
Right.
But this can't happen anymore. You can't let it sit. It's either dead or we pay for the service.
Crime Watch was picking up the slack
Mhm.
during that period.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
my
Has
thing.
that internet though to get that. Some people are just getting that on their phone. Some people don't go on there to see the Crime Watch. They're getting it on their phone instead of having to go somewhere to look for it.
And I don't think Crime Watch should be Columbia Borough's outlet for, I appreciate it, but
Right.
I don't think it should be the outlet for information for Columbia Borough.
Well, that's a decision you have to
Right.
make.
Well, right.
What I'm saying is, when they knew they were going to have to buy more minutes, the Crime Watch picked up the slack.
And I appreciate that, I really do, but I'd like to know what street sweeper's running.
But I mean, again, and like I said, I've asked him, because it's my understanding we only have about 600 people that have signed up.
601.
601 people have signed up for Text My Gov. So is almost $7,000 worth it to get road closures out to 601 people?
I think we
So,
can't really make an informed decision until we have all the data.
right. So I just wanted to alert everyone that it's going to be coming. Announcement of next meeting on Tuesday, January 7th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Council will hold a workshop meeting. I just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to everyone, and we'll see you all in the new year. Could I have a motion to adjourn? And a second.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Geezy, second by Councilperson Fisher to adjourn at 9:06 p.m. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? We're adjourned.
I forgot you do that and then I just.